Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for those kind words. I hope they enjoy consensus in the Council. Madam President, Pakistan thanks Special Coordinator Sigrid Kaag for her comprehensive briefing, and we endorse the Secretary General's conclusions and recommendations as conveyed by the Special Coordinator in her presentation. We are meeting again, Madam President, to review the consequences of what we all know and understand is a process of ethnic cleansing. And as the ICJ has said, I quote, probable genocide. More than 50,000 innocent Palestinians, mostly women and children, have been killed in Gaza, over 100,000 injured. And since Israel broke the Gaza ceasefire on Tuesday, 591 Palestinians, including 200 children, have been killed and 1,042 injured in the Gaza Strip. Pakistan strongly condemns Israel's latest escalation, including its renewed bombardment of Gaza and its systematic blockage of humanitarian assistance, as well as the decision to cut off power supply that threatens water access in the Palestinian territories. Over 90,000 of Gaza's population faces starvation due to Israel's blockade. Newborn babies are reportedly dying. Civilian structures, hospitals, schools, and mosques are being destroyed on the pretext of targeting combatants. Every principle of international law, including international humanitarian law, has been violated. But Israel has vowed to continue the slaughter irrespective of its consequences for Palestinian civilians. It is doing so with impunity, knowing well that the world and this Council will be deterred from taking any action to enforce its resolutions calling for a ceasefire and an end to the mounting atrocities. Madam President, the Gaza genocide is now being extended to the West Bank. Israel's large-scale military operations, which began in Jenin and other areas of the northern West Bank on 21st January, have expanded to Nur Shams, Tulkaram, and Jenin camps, causing the largest population displacement since 1967. Daily military raids, settler violence, and illegal land annexations are part of a systematic effort to ethnically cleanse the Palestinian people in the West Bank. According to OCHA, between 7 October 2023 and 4 March 2025, 896 Palestinians, including children and women, were killed in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem. 90 Palestinians since the start of this year. The ongoing expansion of illegal Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem flagrantly violate the international law and UN Security Council Resolution 2334 and constitutes a clear breach of the Charter. Security Council resolutions are binding, Madam President, and cannot be ignored or selectively observed. The Security Council and the world community cannot sit back and watch this ongoing ethnic cleansing. A failure to halt this brutal war will unleash the worst instincts of powerful and predatory states, shred the principles of the UN Charter designed to prevent aggression and the scourge of war, and create a Hobbesian hell of conflict and chaos. Madam President, the elected members of this Security Council, who have a direct mandate from the General Assembly to work for peace and security and the defense of the Charter, must again come forward to initiate concrete measures to end this cruel war and restore the conditions for a durable peace in the Middle East. The Palestine issue is the heart of all the conflicts that are raging in the Middle East. To address the Palestine question, the Council can and must take the following decisions. First, we must demand that Israel immediately halt its military attacks in Gaza and its military operations and the settler violence on the West Bank, and that an indefinite and continuous ceasefire be established. 2, the Israeli blockade of humanitarian supplies to Gaza must be ended and full access provided to the UN and other humanitarian agencies and organizations. Starvation of civilians cannot be used as a weapon of war. 3, negotiations should be resumed to implement the second and third phases of the ceasefire agreement of 12 January, including for the release of hostages and withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. The ceasefire should be observed until these negotiations are concluded on the second and third phase of the agreement, as also envisaged in Resolution 2735. We would hope that the mediators, Qatar, Egypt, and the United States, will work to secure the full potential of the 12 January agreement. 4, serious and high-level consideration should be accorded by all major partners to the Arab and OIC plan for recovery and reconstruction of Gaza. This plan offers a practical and realistic path for economic and social rehabilitation in Gaza, for its governance, and for peace between the Palestinians and Israel. 5, simultaneously, a credible and irreversible political process must be launched to promote the two-state solution, including the establishment of an independent and sovereign Palestinian state within the pre-June 1967 borders, with Al-Quds Al-Sharif as its capital. Madam President, if we can agree to initiate these steps, particularly if we can halt Israel's military campaign, sustain a ceasefire, and end the humanitarian crisis, it would create conditions conducive to the success of the endeavor for a two-state solution at the conference co-chaired by Saudi Arabia and France next June. This is an outcome that should be desired by the world and should enjoy consensus within the Security Council. I thank you, Madam President.